Hi, this is Pamela Apple from Insider Travel Report. I have the honor of sitting with the godmother of the SH Diana, Valerie Wilson, chairman of Valerie Wilson Travel, and Joe Maloney, the new vice president of North America of sales for Swan Hellenic. Hello,
Hello,
Valerie.
it's great to see you, Pam.
Thank you, Pam. Honored to be here.
So, if you don't mind, we'll do ladies first and start with Valerie, who has been honored with being named godmother of this gorgeous ship. Can you tell us how you were approached and why?
Well, I don't know if I can exactly remember the who and the why and the when, except it was probably last October when I was sailing on the Swan Hellenic Vega out of Vancouver to Boston when I met Andrea and Alfredo. And I'm giving all kinds of constructive comments and wow moments and this and that and so forth because I know everybody that knows me knows I'm rather opinionated. And they said, "Would you be our godmother?" And I said, "I'd be honored to be your godmother." And then, of course, the first thing I said, "What are my responsibilities?" And of course, nobody's answered or told me yet. So I just decided I have to be the hostess to every guest that comes on board when I'm traveling on Swan Hellenic's ships, and certainly on Diana, and hopefully make sure that all the guests feel comfortable and happy on this incredible, I call it chic contemporary ship.
So, I have to say, I was the recipient of your lovely hospitality last night when you invited me to join you at your table. And I have to say, one of my favorite things on this ship has been the help and how wonderful everybody is. And I'm amazed at how they know my name. Everyone says, "Hello, Miss Pam. Hello, Miss Pam." And it really is a personal touch that stands out in my mind.
I totally agree with you. And for many of them, they have not, this is their first cruise. And yet they're welcoming you into their home and they're giving incredible service. And you can see the pride in their face and the smiles. So I think the crew is fantastic. The bones of the ship are remarkable, but it's the people that always make the difference.
Absolutely. So I'm going to ask you, Joe, and then I'll ask you, Valerie. What are your favorite things about the ship?
Well, I have to say, is a foodie like so many of us are nowadays. I've just been blown away by the food, and we have this new arrangement contract with chef consortium called JRE, and we host different young rising star chefs. Many of them have Michelin stars onto our ships to host special evenings. Their influence goes beyond just that one evening, and the food has just been incredible throughout the trip. I've never experienced this quality of food, maybe in my life, let alone on a ship.
And
I would totally agree with Joe on the cuisine, and Chef Eddie's just been remarkable. And I think that is all part of enjoying cruising. It's not just your destination and where you're cruising to and from, but the entire feeling of the ship, the ambience of the ship, of your staterooms, and the people who make the difference. So if I had to wrap it up in one word, it would be everything.
I have to say, I am also impressed with the food. And we're sitting in a beautiful observation lounge right now. The camera can't see, but right behind us we are passing the most magnificent scenery. And the lounge is a place where everyone grabs a drink and meets. And I'm on this trip alone, but I've never felt lonely. I've talked to everybody, everyone's welcoming.
I think, I know it's called the Observation Lounge. I wish it was called the Observation Living Room because it really makes me
Good
think
one.
that we are in a person's living room, and a combination of people, and mostly the crew, are our hosts and hostesses.
You know, Pam, it's has a very intimate feel, as you mentioned. But this ship holds a max of 190 guests, which is, provides a level of intimacy you just don't get on a lot of ships.
I also have to comment before we move on about the staterooms because they are spectacular.
Not only are they spectacular, everything is so beautifully planned out, and everything is in its right place. And then you have calming colors. You've got more drawer space and closet space probably than I've ever seen at sea, or certainly close to the best. But it feels homey and comfortable. And I think that's very hard to do today, and particularly hard to do sometimes in contemporary interior design, to make you feel at home and comfortable.
I have to say, there's more closet space in my room on the ship than I have in my own home. It's amazing how much storage there is.
That's a big deal. And, as we design the ships, we've listened to many guests from all over. And Andrea Zito, the CEO, he's been in this business for 40 years. And he ran many of the services for many of the cruise lines that are out there prior to co-founding Swan Hellenic. And Andrea, the attention to details are amazing.
I think the other plus, and certainly something I'm going to bring back to all of our advisors, is that there are so many suites and staterooms available with a fireplace that is, of course, electric, but you turn it on and you can turn it lower and you can get a little heat out of it, but you feel like you're sitting in a chalet.
So who do you think the exposition, who is this cruise appealing to? Who's Swan Hellenic's customer and who are they appealing to?
Well, I would say it's for the young. It's for an older clientele that wants to be active. But it's for the client who wants luxury, wants to dine well, wants a great service, but wants to be active. The expedition theme is connotes active. And so yesterday I went on a great hike up this mountain to a feature where there was a big hole in the mountain. And, it was a great workout. Worked up a great sweat. A couple of days prior, we had a hike and bike shore excursion. Yesterday, we also had kayaking. So, and we also have some traditional bus tours where there's areas of interest. We visit salmon farms and aquaculture centers. Did a bit of a foodie tour the other day called The Taste of Trondelag here in Norway. So it's not just stopping at, the most popular places with t-shirt shops that are all the same. It's really diverse, has a great cultural appeal, and can be as active as you want. First of all, I wouldn't say demographics, but the psychographics of, targets for a lot of high-end products. the psychographics have changed. Demographics, not so much. And what I mean by that is we've all heard the saying, 70 is the new 50. And I think so many of us are healthier, more active. So I think that comes into play. But then, this type of trip, it's a little more intimate. A smaller ship like this goes into ports that big ships can't go. It's intimate ashore. It's, I would even say, more authentic in many, many cases. I mean, there's nothing pretentious. There's not a lot of, t-shirt shops, and the ports that we have visited on this trip up along the Norwegian coast are mostly hamlets of people living the way they have for many, many years. If you're not feeling up to being really active, you can stay on the ship, go to the spa. We have beautiful spa, hairdresser, and
I've been taking
masseuse,
advantage of all of those, Joe.
whirlpool, a beautiful gym, pretty large, beautiful gym. So, an outdoor, what do you call it? Infinity pool.
Yeah.
Looks over the
But
back.
the other thing is,
You don't have to be any more active than you don't want to be.
So what do you want to say to agents? How do you sell this? What's the thing that's going to get their clients to want to go on this?
well, I'm looking forward to saying to our advisors, and part of it will be in a little talk show, I guess, that I'll do in the office with some photographs, because I can show the history, I can show a touch of the culture, I can explain a little bit about the beauty, but it's very hard to take this beauty and put it just in a picture. But I've gotten a couple great shots that I think will illustrate it. And the fact that it's as if I'm almost exploring an unknown region and destination and country, because some of the little hamlets we're stopping in have only 20 or 30 people that live there. And so it's taking me back in some ways, actually, to my mother's Scandinavian, being a 100% Swede, to those roots of what has changed and yet what has improved. And the sincerity of the people is just astounding.
Well, thank you both, but I just can't let Joe, he's only been in the job 11 days, but just wondering if you want to share anything about your plans for the future, where you see Swan Hellenic going, how the sales department's going to work.
Yeah, well, I mean, our entire focus is on the agent community. So, starting with Valerie, and Valerie Wilson Travel, our entire fight, and we have a small sales staff. There are 3 of us right now, hopefully 4 within a week or so. But, it's a huge country, so we have to focus, and it'll be, we have about 30 really good professional agents here that want to work with us, and it'll start there. But then I want to ensure that our services to our partners are quality services. I want to ensure that our communication and docs arrive in a timely manner, and I want to ensure that we're as good of a partner as our partners have. For me, that's number one, and because I have no concern about product. I think the product is pretty bulletproof. There's little things, growing pains, but the product is outstanding. It's in the business dealings, the processes, where I intend for us to excel.
Thank you to Valerie Wilson and Joe Marie. This is Pam